Hello there, one and all, and thank you very much for tuning in to episode 506 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, live on YouTube. As always, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do consider doing so. You should be able to find a link to my Ko-fi page in the video description below. If you would like to find out how you can support my work, in the video description, you should also be able to find a link to my Substack. And if you do subscribe, please make sure you click on the little bell so that you get notifications of new videos. Anyway, for those of you watching live today, this is the second of 4 planned videos, and it's going to be a kind of mini showcase of the debut trio of scents from a new London-founded, London-based brand. But in keeping with tradition, we need to see if we've got a comment. Gavin gets the first comment and it says, "Ooh, a Lacanian term, fancy." Now, I had to look up Jouissance. I wasn't aware of the term, and it is fascinating. So, by all means, do look it up. I think we're probably going to have to sort of do a little bit of, or we will end up doing a little bit of reading on it about it. CJ is here as well, saying first live for a while. Polpo says hi. Alex says, hello, everyone. Welcome back, Alex. Spencer says, hello again from DC. Happy to have some pleasant perfumey company while toiling away in the office today. Gavin says, I didn't have to look it up. Well, you don't surprise me at all. Go on then, enlighten us. Tell us what jouissance is in a couple of sentences. My understanding is that it's meant to be an expression of a very specifically, particularly female, feminine type of sensuality, sexuality, and certainly that's what this particular brand seems to be about. I'm looking forward to this one, says Perfumed by the Sea. These samples are on my wish list. And Mastermind says, hello, my first live. Okay, you're very, very welcome. Right, so this is a brand that it was founded by somebody I've never met called Cherry Cheng. Somebody who apparently studied art business at Sotheby's Institute and then did a master's in contemporary art theory at Goldsmiths. And let me just get the quote. This is from a Wallpaper magazine interview, and where the founder says that the name comes from the notion of jouissance, which was canonized in Hélène. I don't know how you pronounce this lady's surname, but it is Cichoux, I don't know, canonized in her seminal 1975 essay, The Laugh of the Medusa, as a mystical abundance that links the feminine capacity for surplus pleasure to creative power. Acknowledging and nurturing female creativity is at the heart of jouissance, which is why we have chosen to reappraise the legacies of 3 provocative 20th century authors known for their erotic writing: Anais Nin, Anne Declos, and Catherine Millet. So, a pretty high bar. So basically scents that are not just about female eroticism, but particularly about female erotic writing, female erotic authorship, female erotic artistry. If you have tried these, I'd be very, very curious to know what you think of them. The 3 scents are La Bague D'O, En Plein Air, or Plein Air, and Les Cahiers Secrets, so the secret books. I think maybe if we go through them in the reverse order, maybe that's not how you're supposed to do it, but I have a reason for doing this because I did have a sort of pre-sniff of them for the sake of doing the pre-spray blotters. Let's go in reverse order then. So the secret notebook, little vial here. I'm told that this discovery set is something that is available for purchase. Okay. I was actually invited to the launch event for these in London as well, but I couldn't go, and apparently it was a sort of nighttime soiree of readings, I think, and music. So this is the secret book. As from what I've been able to discover, the brand hasn't revealed the perfumer or perfumers, which is a little bit of a shame. Just seems like such a kind of 1950s thing to be doing at the moment. This feels like the same vibe as Marlou, says Oriana. Gavin says, post-structurally, what do you mean by purchase? What did you study at Goldsmiths and Sotheby's, Gavin? I was going to say spend money on, but that opens up a whole can of worms as well, doesn't it? This is a really, really interesting blend of powdery notes. Let me get my notes up here from when I was smelling. At first, when I smelt it, I thought to myself that this was going to be the obligatory kind of ambery scent that every single brand seems to feel they need to have. And to be sure, there is a kind of vanillic resinous thing to it that comes through. But what you also get, and it gets sort of stronger and stronger as it goes along, is a kind of powdery iris heliotrope note, almost as though, you know, Guerlain's Après L'Ondée has decided to throw absolutely every shred of decorum to the bit and has sort of caught a flight to a kind of semi-debauched, not entirely debauched, let's say semi-debauched foam party somewhere in Ibiza circa 1992. I mean, is that when foam parties were happening in Ibiza? I've never been to a foam party. And it's very kind of foam party meets boudoir, 90s rave foam party meets Glenn Close and Dangerous Liaisons. It seems to be doing all of those sorts of things. And we'll come back to that. But let's just read the tiny little bit that the brand has, because in the Discovery Kit, you get a little leaflet. So for this one, they say, artist expats in Paris, erotic journal entries, odysseys of self-discovery, the small but sensual luxuries of good coffee, silk stockings, rugs and tapestries, skin so luminous it glows in the dark, intense female friendships, and the subversive power of women's language. We collected passages from Anais Nin's diaries to create Les Cahiers Secrets. For generations of women, Anais Nin is the voice of their erotic and creative inner worlds. Her story is one of multiple lives, both as a writer and a private individual, etc., etc. And the notes that they quote for the perfume are fresh cut lilies and cumin at the top, pressed powder and heliotrope for the heart, and orris and musk for the base. Foam parties were still a thing in my heyday in the 2010s, says CJ. Ah, okay, good to know. Perhaps I could have gone to one then, but I didn't. Right, so that's the secret book. Moving on to En Plein Air, which I think is the least interesting of the three. And I will tell you why in a moment. Let's have a spray, and we will do pre-sprayed blotters in a sec after we've done the initial sprays of these ones. Oh, Mr. C, that's very, very, very kind. Just here to press you about the fig top 10. Oh, okay, but you don't need to do it that way. I will really try to give, but that's very, very kind. Nonetheless, thank you very much. I will do my best to give that some thought. I will have to get thinking because I don't have very many fig perfumes in my collection. Anyway, oh, and Alex is still trying to forget foam parties. So En Plein Air is, you know, out in the open air, and it is a kind of green, sparkling, citrusy scent. This, I think, is a case of maybe a brand thinking, oh, we'd better have a freshie. We'd better have something very, very safe and approachable. It's a fairly kind of basic standard citrus opening, lemon, bergamot, grapefruit, gentle flower petals. You know, suddenly Lolita has decided that actually she's going to be a very, very good girl after all, and has joined a convent. And the book ends there. But what do they say? I think from memory, when I glanced at the writing before, I thought they were really, really overselling it. Grass imprints on bare skin, underwear clutched in one hand, the soft touch of a stranger's lips, Roma movies at La Cinémathèque Française, the hedonistic thrill of cruising, typewriter keys cataloguing a litany of explicit details, and the witching hour spent somewhere secret. We piece together En Plein Air from fragments of Catherine M's world. So this is the sexual life of Catherine M. But the scent, I think if you're going to make a citrus type scent, to then try and make it a little bit dirty, a little bit naughty, a little bit debauched is quite hard. And I'm not sure they really pull it off here. The notes that they quote are bergamot, lemon, and grapefruit, sure enough. Then white flowers and rain, and a base of musk. equals a cologne, says Gavin. Well, I suppose it kind of is, but it's not as herbal as a traditional eau de cologne. It somehow feels very, very aqua allegoria. It's fine, but a bit surprising, especially as I smelt it after I smelt the first one, which is la Bague D'O. What's a bag in French, if that isn't a rude question to ask? So Bague. Anybody out there able to help with that one? I'm just hoping it's not a kind of euphemism, and I suddenly get banned from YouTube. Now this one, I wonder if this was the one that was made first. Or a ring. Okay, that's all right. I wonder if this was the one that made first, because this really seems to encompass what the brand are trying to do. Now, this is... we're back with Glenn Close in Dangerous Liaisons, but she's kind of parting the velvet curtains and inviting us to a full-on orgy. The Michelle Pfeiffer character is there as well. She's thrown all decorum to the wind. A few extras from Eyes Wide Shut have joined in. Some are wearing Venetian masks, some aren't bothering. And everything is kind of covered in this haze of white, strongly scented talcum powder. This is basically a kind of incensey rose, and you would be forgiven for thinking that a lot of the inspiration for this may also have been Frederic Maule's Portrait of a Lady, composed by Dominique Ropion. But this is like Portrait of a Lady not suitable for work. The version of Portrait of a Lady where, what's that awful line from Titanic? Draw me like one of your French girls, or paint me like one of your French. It really, really is deliciously lascivious. I mean, I think that there's the combination of some very, very seriously animalic notes, probably some cumin as well, with the kind of retro feel of jasmine and violet, which takes you into the territory of Dangerous Liaisons, and the kind of elegance of rose and pepper and incense is quite a combo. This is the one that made me look them up online and see how much they are. They're not cheap. Is it a little bit like 1876 by Histoire de Parfum, says Alex? I don't remember that one, and I'm useless with the names from that brand. Now, 1876 is not the Marquis de Sade one, is it? That's the one I really like, the ambery, leathery one. Oriana says, Bague D'O is a symbol of the BDSM realm. Ah, I did not know this. I don't know about that. I didn't know about foam parties, but that makes sense. This is the one where I'm thinking, ooh, perhaps a bit more than 2 mils of this needs to be in my collection. What do they say? They say, a journey by car to an unknown destination, the leisurely pleasure of ritualistic dressing, sacred submission, the candy wrapper shine of glossy fashion photographs, purple welts that take weeks to heal. Okay, if that's what you're into. A masked ball and the iron ring on your third finger. La Bague D'O is our olfactory reimagining of Pauline Réage's infamous creation. And I don't know this book, but it starts here telling me, I mean, I know it's the story of O, but apparently it starts off with her whisked off to a chateau by her lover, and there her journey of sexual submission begins. So I suppose, I mean, I haven't read 50 Shades of Grey either or seen the films, but is it that kind of thing? That's a wild press statement, says Siege. I know, better than most of the ones we get, right? So that is the one you need to check out. I really wish I knew who the perfumers were. Let's go to the pre-sprayed one. So let's do the pre-sprayed citrusy one first, because as it's the gentlest one. I'm guessing, sounds like a washy pillow talk. Okay. Yeah, the citrus one, so that's en Plein Air, is it's almost like a tea scent now. It's quite nondescript, quite forgettable. Never mind. They're allowed one misfire. But now let's go to the secret book. So this is pre-sprayed Cahiers Secrets. Here. The musks are quite naughty here, actually. The musks are really coming through now. And if they're coming through this strongly on paper, that would suggest that they come through even more strongly on skin. So it's strong, musky iris, but maybe a touch simplistic, maybe a bit less faceted in the final stage. And the ring, O's ring, pre-sprayed. Okay, I think maybe she's decided at the end to pursue a tamer path in life, and what we're left with is a really, really lovely, nicely done kind of patchouli rose. Oh no, but there was a bit of some funkiness just there. No, there's life in the old girl yet. This is the one. This is the La Bague D'O is the one to check out. Gavin says, reminds me of Pantomime Aladdin and the "do you want to see me rub my ring" joke. Do you know, I've never been to a pantomime either. I think it's because even though I was born in the UK, we left when I was quite young. And so during all of those years when I guess you would have done things like going to pantomimes, I wasn't around. I've never been to a pantomime. And I suppose it's probably a little bit too late now because I wouldn't get all of the in jokes. I love the fact that we have gone from literary high art stroke filth to pantomimes. DMS says these are the descriptions that make the writers for Et un livre d'orange blush. I know. You are not kidding there. Okay. Interesting brand. I wonder if it might be worth getting in touch with the founder and talk about some of the thinking behind the setting up of the brand. And it's great, I suppose, that there is a brand that is now entirely dedicated itself to female sensuality and very specifically female sexuality as expressed by female writers. Gavin definitely wants an interview. Okay, while I was smelling them, I did think to myself, does female sexuality, does it have to be expressed in these kinds of powdery boudoir sorts of forms all the time? But I think there's enough other stuff going on here to sort of make me overlook that for the moment. And Rita says, I'd like to smell these and compare them to Marlou. Yes, I mean, I seem to remember there was that one Marlou that was super, almost like disgustingly animalic, which I really, really liked. But none of those made me think of that one. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. We will be back in a few minutes with another single perfume review video, and then back again after that with another showcase. But for now, thank you very much. See you soon.